Hey, it's April Davis, PI, and it is Sunday, July 26, 2026. Since there's been so much interest lately all over the world in Jackie's story, Jackie the Big Bear Eagle, I thought I would go over her history a little bit. The history of her babies that she's had with Shadow and the babies that she had with her first husband. But let me start first with her background so you'll understand this. And I won't go over every single year. I'm just going to go over the wins here rather than some of the years that were failures. The fall 2011 and summer 2012 season, the first bald eagle chick ever hatched in Big Bear was discovered. The parents were called Ricky and Lucy by the Forest Service. Their chick was originally named Jack after a longtime volunteer for the Forest Service. Before Jack fledged, that chick grew to be bigger than both of its parents. Since bald eagle females are much larger than males, this meant the chick had to be a female. So Jack's name was changed to Jackie. Yeah, so Jackie was born in 2012. A lot of people have been asking me that. How old is Jackie? She is 14 years old. The original nest was in the top of a dead tree. With the assistance of Jackie's flapping practice that had dislodged many sticks, the nest eventually blew down in a big windstorm shortly after Jackie fledged. Ricky and Lucy had already been working on a second nest in a strong, healthy tree about 50 feet away from where Jackie was raised. They moved to that nest the following season, and that is still the current nest. So now let's jump ahead. To the fall 2014 and summer 2015 season. Ricky and Lucy raised one more chick in that nest that we believe successfully fledged. This chick was named Shadow by the Big Bear third graders and the Forest Service. Now, this Shadow is not to be confused with the current Shadow, who is Jackie's mate. So, just to recap, Jackie has a younger brother named Shadow, which is not the same Shadow that is her current mating partner. Now, let's jump ahead to the 2017-2018 season. This is before Jackie and Shadow were a couple, okay? Jackie laid eggs, which hatched and were named, once again, by the Big Bear third graders, Stormy and BBB. BBB stood for Big Bear Baby. Her husband at the time was Mr. B. BBB did not survive a severe 24-hour rainstorm and the following freezing temperatures. The chicks at that point were about 6.5 weeks old. They were too big to fit completely under their parents to stay dry and did not yet have all of their waterproof plumage, so we believe BBB's death was from exposure. Now, this is per sources at Friends of Big Bear Valley. Stormy, the other chick, did survive. Stormy went on to become worldwide famous thanks to the U.S. Forest Service press releases that were picked up by the media. When Stormy was almost 8 weeks old, he was banded with a band on each ankle. To do the banding, the Forest Service hired a specialist, a tree-climbing raptor biologist with the proper federal and state permits. Stormy's identifying band was purple with the number JR1 on it. Stormy fledged successfully on April 26th, 2018, and left the Big Bear Valley a couple of months later. So yeah, they used to ban the babies, but they haven't done that for several years now. Now, during that summer when the Eagle family was still using the nest with Stormy, another adult male intruder showed up to the nest and with great tenacity refused to leave no matter how much Jackie, Mr. B, and Stormy tried to chase him away. The new male was called Shadow because he seemed so determined to stay in the nest. We initially believed him to be Ricky and Lucy's fledgling named Shadow. It was later determined that this intruder eagle's plumage showed it to be a year older than Shadow, who was hatched in Big Bear. So by then, the name had stuck. Shadow is the resident male eagle and Jackie's current mate. So this Shadow, who was originally believed to be her younger brother Shadow, turned out to be a different age, but then they just kept the name anyhow. So, yeah, some people get confused and think, that she's mating with her brother, and that's not the case. Mr. B then eventually left the area. He was last seen on the Nest camera in a non-violent showdown with Shadow. When Shadow continued holding his ground, no matter how much Mr. B tried to chase him away, Mr. B eventually gave up and left. After that, Jackie now accepted Shadow as her new mate, which I think is very unusual because usually in the eagle world, the male and the female stay together until death. Now let's jump ahead to fall 2018 and the summer 2019 season. Jackie laid eggs on March 6th and 9th, and the eggs hatched on April 14th and 15th. The chicks were named Simba and Cookie. The first time FOBBV opened a Name the Chicks fundraiser contest to the public. So this was the first time that they did that. 25 names were drawn from the submissions, and once again, the local third graders then voted to select the 2 finalists. At 6 weeks old, Cookie did not survive a rain and snowstorm, followed by freezing temperatures. Both Cookie and Simba were banded. Simba with ID number ZR1 and Cookie ZJ1. Both eaglets were determined to be males during the banding process. Simba fledged successfully on July 23rd and eventually left the Big Bear Valley. He was last seen on the nest August 18th, 2019. Now, not to say anything sad or negative here, but it was later determined that both her first eaglet, Stormy, and then her second one, Simba, that in the years to come, they were located in other parts of California deceased. Yes, I don't know how many years they lived, but apparently not very long. Okay, let's jump ahead now to the fall 2021, summer 2022 season. Jackie laid eggs on January 22nd and 25th. One egg hatched on March the 3rd. The remaining egg failed to hatch for unknown reasons. The hatched chick seemed to adopt the unhatched egg as a security blanket. I remember that, often snuggling up to it and sometimes even protected it from Jackie and Shadow if they got too close to it. After the chick fledged, the unhatched egg eventually became part of the nest. Yeah, it just kind of dried up. A fundraiser to name the chick was open to the public. 35 names were randomly drawn, and the local third grader classrooms voted on their favorite name. Our 2022 chick was named Spirit. Yeah, that's the first one that I ever actually saw born, because the first 2 seasons I watched, they had failures. So by the time that happened, I was in tears, because I've been watching since the 2019-2020 season. Now, over time, and with a few indicators such as ankle thickness, overall size, and vocal pitch, the Friends of Big Bear Valley determined Spirit to be a female. Spirit stole the hearts of viewers around the world, and she fledged successfully on May 31st. Yeah, I remember that because I had got into this while I was still treating for cancer, 2019-2020, and there were several, seasons that didn't work out. So I got very emotional, just that I had lived long enough to see Spirit be born. Now, let's jump ahead once more to fall 2024 and the summer 2025 season. This is really important. Jackie laid her eggs on January 22nd and 25th and January 28th. It was the second year in a row that she had laid a 3-egg clutch. I didn't know that. Unlike last season, however, all 3 eggs hatched. The first chick hatched on March the 3rd, the second on March the 4th, and the third on March the 8th. Jackie and Shadow practiced delayed incubation in order to have a closer hatchling spread. All 3 chicks did great hard work breaking through those eggshells. Bald eagle nesting seasons vary throughout the country based on the amount of daylight. Jackie and Shadow's nesting season and fertility window is the same as other bald eagles in Southern California, except for one very big difference. Jackie and Shadow contend with the mountain snow. Sadly, the winter had been a challenge for the Big Bear bald eagles. During a multi-day snowstorm this last season, the first chick that hatched died around March 13th. They were unable to view the nest bowl because of the big snow berm that had formed next to it. I remember that. It was so high, like you couldn't see inside the nest. Several feet of snow had fallen in the area. We couldn't hear much because their microphone had been damaged during the storm. I remember that. And they had to rely on the backup microphone on Nest Cam number 2. Now, their names became Misty, Sunny, and Gizmo. The next day, Shadow pulled a deceased chick out of the nest bowl and placed it on the side of the nest. It was our first visual confirmation that it had passed. Cry me a river when that happened. Jackie, who was so sensitive, appeared to have difficulty with what was happening, and she uncharacteristically stayed away from the nest for hours at a time. Yeah, even with the 2 other babies still there, Sunny and Gizmo. Shadow picked up her shifts while she got some space. When Jackie returned, she checked for herself that the chick had died. I remember that too. Oh my God, it was so emotional. Then she flew it off the nest for a forest burial. Yeah, never to be seen again. She came back and removed little Misty. Oh, heartbreaking. Jackie and Shadow kept the nest well stocked and were often feeding in tandem. After some initial and totally normal sibling rivalry, the 2 eaglets settled into their routines and became best friends. We held a naming contest for the public and invited the Big Bear 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders to help choose the names. Yeah, normally it has just been the Big Bear 3rd graders because they study eagles during the year, but since the last few hatch years had been unsuccessful, we wanted those students to get a chance to participate. Yay! Sunny and Gizmo were the winning names. We decided to name the chick that had died in the storm Misty after a longtime volunteer that passed away a few years ago. I remember that. It was just, cry me a river. And they don't know if Misty was a boy or a girl because she passed so young. However, Sunny and Gizmo were later determined to be girls, and here's why. While Sunny was bigger than Gizmo, they both grew bigger than Shadow, and judging by the ankle size and pitch, we made an educated guess that both were females. This was the first season that Jackie and Shadow fledged 2 chicks at the same time. Sunny went first on June 2nd at 90 days old, and Gizmo followed on June 7th at 91 days old. That means it was, time to grow up and go out into the world. Sunny and Gizmo were seen on and off the nest and flying around together during Big Bear's 10th annual Outdoor Adventure Days a few weeks later. Jackie and Shadow made some appearances as well. Due to the sheer volume of forested acreage, it would be physically impossible to determine the exact date they might have both left the territory or if they actually did. We hope they are out there enjoying their grand adventures wherever they are. Yeah. Most of the times they do leave the territory, but not always, because look at Jackie. She is believed to be the original Jackie that was birthed by Ricky and Lucy. So they don't always leave the territory. Now, let's just jump ahead to where we are right now, the 2026 season. Jackie laid 2 eggs in early 2026, and both were eaten by a raven. Friends of Big Bear Valley observers noticed egg damage prior to this. Therefore, they posted that the eagles allowed the ravens to access them. The following month, Jackie laid 2 more eggs. That would be the second clutch, both of which hatched in April 2026. Yeah, they both hatched Easter weekend, actually. The 2 eaglets, 1 male and 1 female, were named Luna and Sandy. The latter named after Sandy Steers, may she rest in peace, the FOBBV's founder and executive director, who conceived of and organized the live streaming Nest Cam. Yes, we all wouldn't be here if it weren't for the wonderful Sandy Steers. Similar to the previous year, both names were chosen by students at Big Bear Elementary School who voted on 63,915 submissions. Sandy and Luna Fledge within 1 day of each other in late June 2026, slightly prematurely due to Luna accidentally knocking Sandy off the tree. Yeah, that's when she was knocked off the tree and she landed in some branches below, upside down. But they did save her. They caught her. And minutes later, she was able to make her way out. Now, it took, a while for her to recover from that, but she did survive. As of June 29th, 2026, both juveniles were off the nest tree and being fed by their parents. Yes. Yeah. Now, jump ahead to current day. We know what's happened to Jackie, if you've seen my other videos. And we know that both nest cams have not seen Sandy and Luna over the last several days, but they do believe that they've heard them when Shadow has called out for them. Yeah, they're all going through it right now. Once again, if you're following my Big Bear Valley Eagle story, prayers for Jackie. If you like this video, please give it a like. Please share, subscribe. And I forgot to mention in the last one, if you have any free hype points, you can always hype these videos within the first 7 days that they are published. It makes a big difference. I'm a small channel. I would appreciate the subs, the hypes, the likes, the comments, whatever you'd like to do with this video. Thank you so much for watching.